Yeah, it's been pretty busy and a bit tiring, but it's fun, it's fun, it's fun. I never met other Africans like this. I never met somebody from Uganda, so it's so wonderful. To me, that's the most important part of the project. It's not even the performance on stage. That comes, but it's like meeting and knowing other African cultures and knowing that Africa is big. I used to think my Africa was just Cameroon. Yeah, now I now know the sun is not turning around Cameroon, neither around Africa. The world is so big, so many cultures and different people. That makes it more interesting.
And in a sense, it's true that everybody has a perception of somebody. You know, you normally have a perception of something that you don't understand and you don't really can't place a finger on, and therefore you must put it in a certain category. And whenever you meet somebody from that side of the divide and you get to know him as a human being, you do not judge him based on the perceptions again. And at least for amongst us, we've sorted it out. I mean, we are okay with each other now. We kind of understand each other and we are flowing well. I just hope that it transcends. Because, you know, when you get to know an individual, there's a tendency to take that individual out of a certain group of people and the group of people you're thinking about. Okay, I know Nick. Nick is a nice white bloke. He's not like the other white guys because I know Nick. But white guys are still like this. And that is a tendency that we have to work against. Because yes, we've come here, I've met a Senegalese I like, I've met a Nigerian I like, I've met a Kenyan I like. That does not necessarily change my opinion and my thoughts about Nigerians or about Kenyans or about Senegalese. And I think that's the hard work that we have to do. That is the work that we really have to do. At least we found a network that we can use to do that work.
The East Africans, I keep saying, they're like the conscious African. And as I was saying this, I was just, just on the shallow level, I was like, the East Africans are so deep. And then the Ghanaian guy who I was with said, you know what, their struggle for independence was very different from West Africa. In Ghana and Nigeria, there wasn't so much bloodshed to get their independence. But in Kenya and, those places where it was real, and I guess it just simmers down into their culture, into their thinking, and not to say that there are no deep people in West Africa, but it's just like you realize how little you know of meeting a Sudanese and, the Arab culture, a Muslim girl, what do I know about that culture and the openness to learn. And I guess, it has opened my mind to, learning a lot about East Africa.
The diversity of the musicians, just the mix of cultures, has been really eye-opening on a personal level, because in Africa there exist boundaries, real boundaries between cultures and between people, not because they were always there, but because they were created and they've sort of just stayed on. And it's amazing to just see somebody from Nigeria or from Cameroon and just have a one-on-one discussion. And then just finding that a lot of the musicians here have almost exactly the same experiences. Most of us are urban-based musicians, African musicians from wherever we come from, and just finding the struggle that every musician is having to deal with their own story, with their own music industry. It's so much similarity.
One of the things which was quite weird was that they thought I was white when they met me. So I was like, okay, so that was like a weird thing for me. So I was like, in London, you just know, okay, that's somebody who's of mixed parentage or whatever. So I had to kind of explain, because they nominated me to speak on, as a white person from being white and British from that perspective. So I was quite shocked. But yeah, so I think we're just educating each other on different things.
At first, coming here, I just thought it was going to be difficult because, we're going to meet other African artists and you don't know exactly how they think about you, what they feel about you, and things like that. But it was a real surprise that, we came together. I see all of them, I was even scared to talk to them at first. You know, I was even scared to like relate to them, but they were just like me, basically. You know, the mentality, ideologies, it was just like me.
Lisa was bringing some photos of Sudan. And when we watched the photos here, that was funny, because everybody was like, where is this? And she was like, Sudan. Where is this? Sudan. But we never seen Sudan like this. You know, it's all green, you know. The people are outside, the cars are outside, we're seeing highways. They're never showing us Sudan this way. Means that when Africans are showing Africa to other Africans, they show it differently. I think learning starts really when you can swallow your pride. That's where learning starts. When you just shut your mouth, open your ears, open your eyes, then you start learning. And for the moment, most Africans are not doing it. Most Africans are really like, it's us. Even a country like Gambia, which is like this, a country like Guinea Equatorial, which is like this, they will always think that they're the best in Africa. And that's the problem of Africa, defining ourselves in relation to other people.
Yeah, they're like, man, I want to go to Europe. Man, no matter what, I want to go to Europe. Man, you're going to London. Wow, London. Yeah, but I wish they were here with me in the bus or in the train. It's not that it's a problem, but in the train in Africa, you get in a train or a bus, everybody's like, wow, man, where you heading to? Where you coming from? We're like laughing. Yeah, everybody's, yeah. You see, there is so much warmth back home, so much warmth. And that's the essence of life to me. It's a smile on the face. It's just a smile. A smile on the face is enough.
This image that has stayed with me till today is an image in Ghana I saw getting on a truck, and this woman is carrying her baby, and she's in a rush to get on the bus. So her baby's head hits the door of the bus, and an elderly woman actually smacks the mother and says, be careful. And the mother says, I'm sorry, and apologizes to the old lady. And I was like, wow, man, this is a society that cares for itself, you know? And I'm sure if you smack somebody, he's going to punch you in the face in the tube. I mean, he says, what do you care if I bang my child's head against the door? It's none of your business. But I guess that's just a rat race of life, you know. People are too busy, and you have to be careful. I mean, it's quite interesting. One of the rules in our contract that we signed, if you're working with children or handicapped people, avoid not touching them, stay back. It's quite interesting because, you know, you understand because you're coming from a society where you can be accused of molesting a child if you were to touch the child or something like that. But coming from Ghana, where you pick up people's children and you cuddle them and you talk to them and you play with them, it's quite interesting looking at that. But I guess every society has their rules, and you just got to learn to live with it.
First of all, relatives are a different thing here than Africa. Like in Africa, you're gonna have your auntie, your cousin, the sister of your auntie, your uncles. But here, which is not like heavily regarded as a big thing, your close people are your dad, your mom, or maybe your sister, but the others are like a little bit distant. And which in Africa, we believe that everyone from the line of your mom, everyone from the line of your dad is like my close relative.
All the while I've been in London, I've realized that even those who live that life, it's not easy for them. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. And it's more peace at home the way we're living than what I get to find here. Yeah, I think at home we find more peace. So to me, I think the things we see and the dreams we pursue, we should start teaching Africans to be Africans and to be happy with what they have and who they are. Yeah.
For the differences, I would say that Africans are friendly. You know, we are very friendly people. Even if you don't know somebody, you can approach the person and ask the person where you are going, and the person will direct you. But over here, you'll be speaking to the person will be leaving. You know, while talking to you, he'll still be walking. You just walk away, you know, and sometimes it becomes a bit frustrating. And I also think that people who live here are quite nervous. I don't know whether nervousness is the right word to use, but it's like they live in fear. It's like always, they are extremely careful. You know, like when you sit in the trains, you see that people are very tensed. And I believe in life, you have to be a bit jovial, you have to be a bit free.
Yeah, my song for this project is, I call it Mbolocracy. Yeah, it brings to mind democracy, aristocracy, theocracy, and the schools of thought. So I was kind of like saying, democracy is good, yeah, but it's not the best. It's not the best and the only form of life. Yeah. And it also has its setbacks. It has so many setbacks back in Africa. Because way back with the time of chiefs and fonds, it's like today everybody has something to say. And there is so much confusion because of democracy. Everybody can speak.
And you think that there are other structures that are equally valid?
Yeah, for example, in Africa, in my village, there is a code of life. We don't do this, we don't say this, we don't eat this. If you eat this, something befalls you. Something evil befalls you. There is a there are things that are such a taboo. Yeah. And it's only the king or the fon who has to say this. And to me, that's for the people's interest. Yeah, but not that I'm saying democracy has a problem, but there is some type of, it knocks head with African customs. Yeah, because what the laws, they are for the people's good. And to me, it's more natural. Yeah, but on the other hand, there is no turning back. We've got into the West system of governance. So what we have to do now is try to perfect the democracy. We can't go back.